most people like having plans of some kind, right?
Yeah, my plans always include a date or a social gathering, whether that's the same day every week or not. That's part of the plan for me because it's important to me. I want to spend time with the people I like.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Strong, well-fed, outspoken. If you are watching along right now, don't mind me as I put my hoops in.
A girl's gotta have hoops.
They're a part of my personality. I literally feel naked without them. I'm like,
it's true. You know, in Mean Girls, when they're like, and gold hoops were her thing. You and I always wear hoops.
Always. And I feel like me and you, anything with earrings, period. Like,
true. Like my earrings are my statement piece. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like I'll go to the gym with a chunky earring. I'm like, I'll wear sweatpants out. I don't care, but I got to have an earring in.
Yes, always, always. I know. I've been working out because, like, being on the island, like, we went to a few markets already, and I'm always like, yes, new earrings. And I, like, was doing, like, a full-on leg day with these, like, huge seashell earrings the other day, and I'm like, I love it, man. It's a part of the personality. So anyways, guys, if you're new here, welcome to the podcast. My name is Rusty, or Coach Frizzle, or the Miss Frizzle of Fitness.
And I guess I'm jumping right in. Yeah. I'm Coach Nel, or I guess you could also call me Alana because that is my legal first name.
Actual name. It just feels too weird though, man.
It does. It does.
This episode is kind of a pickup off of our last episode. So right now we're kind of coming at you guys with some helpful truth about how to follow through. Or last week's episode was more like why you're not following through and what you can do about it. So I would definitely say you don't need to listen to like last week's before this week's, but I would definitely say listen to both, because this week we're going to give you guys a little bit more of an idea of what we've done and what we still do over the years to be consistent and continue to follow through.
That's right. Because honestly, we talk about a lot of things here, but we don't talk a lot about how we actually put it into a practical application. So this is really just us kind of sharing what we really do day in and day out.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And actually on that note, you know, when Nell and I plan episodes and we talk about different things, we always want to give you guys as much info as possible. But if you guys feel like you really like just the dialogue more, let us know. You know, drop a comment below or shoot us a message on social media. Both of our social media links or Instagram links will be below as well. But like literally, we want to base the podcast off of what is the most helpful for you guys. So like if you like the tips, but you like more of the chatting, or you're happy with where it's at, just let us know.
Yeah, because truthfully, like all of us out there, we're learning as we go and we're changing and evolving, and that's what makes us human. And you guys are along for the ride. So what do you want to hear?
Yeah, please.
And one thing about us, we can talk about almost anything.
Literally, though, literally. And hopefully we can make anything entertaining. We'll see. But with that being said, for us to basically be able to share with you guys what consistency and follow through looks like for us, it would kind of start off with us just telling you guys what a day in the life looks like for us right now.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is going to be anything too crazy because
no, it's not glamorous.
Routine structure. But do you want to kind of break down what like your day looks like? Because I think we do, between me and you, we do completely different.
Our schedules are flipped a little bit too. Like I know I'm not a morning person. I try. I really do. So really, like I have a consistent wake up time, which I'm blessed that I can have.
Yep.
And then I truly like I sit and I come to life.
Yeah.
You know,
how long does that take you?
Well, I give myself about an hour. I will set my alarm early enough that I have that time.
Okay.
And within that time, that includes like sitting, drinking my coffee, making or eating my breakfast. Real talk, guys, I'm going to come back to this later, but I cook all my food ahead of time. So I will eat my breakfast within that time. And then around the last, like probably 30 minutes, I will, get through the shower or, if we're being honest, I work from home. So sometimes the shower's not that important.
Sure. Yeah.
But the thing that I structure my day around is when I wake up and when I clock in. Yep. And I clock in, meaning I work from home, right? I have a very flexible schedule, but I always try and start my day at the same time because I find if I don't do that, I get sidetracked. And this comes in a lot, right? Like I'll answer an email on my phone while I'm sitting and sipping my coffee. Suddenly 3 hours have gone by and I'm like, where did it go? Because I got sidetracked on Instagram or scrolling or something like that. Yep. So my morning routine doesn't include technology. right?
Yep.
I don't use my phone, things like that. That's kind of how I start my day. So how do you start your day?
So yeah, I'm totally a morning person. I like thrive in the morning time. I'm somebody who like wakes up and I'm just like ready to rock. And so for me, well, recently, so like, and this is one thing we'll talk about, right? Like the routine can change based off what you know you need in life. So one thing
Yes.
though, I've gone through phases of in my life is meditation time and like time with God. And I know I really do excel when I start my day with that. So, for the past little while now, my mornings have looked like me waking up and I have this like awesome, app on my phone. If anyone's looking for a good daily devotional on their phone, it's called Glorify. Glorify? Yeah, it's great. It's literally like 5-10 minutes each day. They give you like a verse, like a devotional you read through, a prayer. There's like a meditation piece to it. So like you could do everything in 10 minutes. But anyways, I pretty much start my day with that. And then I usually try and read a little bit of like, not like a fun read. Usually I'm definitely like a self-help book
Like it's
fan.
something to
Yes,
development
yeah, yeah,
reading.
yeah. Tackle all my demons. So I usually read, I try and read or journal or something like that. So honestly, it depends, but I always try and spend at least 10 minutes, but yeah, maybe even up to an hour some days just doing that. And then again, for me, I take my days like very day by day, especially like based off of, again, like my schedule has changed a lot right now because being on the
Yeah.
island with Steph. So a lot of the time my days look like doing a lot of, after that, doing a bunch of client work, client check-ins. Then if it's a workout day, going to work out, possibly getting to more client check-ins after that, or any client messages that have come through.
True. Yeah,
That's
because it really depends on the day. Like my Wednesday and Friday, I'm out the door
yeah,
because I'm teaching yoga in
teaching,
person.
yeah.
And real talk, I don't eat the same way those mornings as I do other mornings, right?
Yes. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I have a couple days that look different for me as well, depending on, well, not rest versus training day, but I have just like different days.
Yeah. And I think that's important because so often we look for this, like, I have to have exactly the same every single day.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, right? Some days I have less time because my husband's on a night shift or something. And I'm the one letting the dog out at minus
Mm.
40 and going, please go
Yeah.
pee. And then she's taking her sweet time. Right. And then I have to be out and, doing whatever. And other days he's home, he can do all that. And I can just wake up, sip my coffee, watch the running club. I live by a green space. I love the running club because they start my day with some inspiration.
That's
And I'm like, you guys are killing it. And then I'm like, I'm going to go crush the day too.
That's amazing. When you first said, and I watched the running space, I legit thought to myself, if anyone else did too, I'm like, is that a TV show?
No,
Or did you
it's me
feel
looking
it?
out because you said you meditate, you connect with God, all
Yeah.
of these things, right? I like spending time in the morning, kind of finding the positives in the day. And
Yeah.
whether that looks like utilizing an app and saying prayers, or that is just sipping your coffee in the dark for 5 minutes before your kids wake up. I think
Yes.
that's important, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I definitely think like time for yourself at
Yes.
any time, right? Because if for you, you're just like, I love the idea of doing it in the morning, but like it's never going to happen. That's okay. Like if it works for you in the afternoon or it works for you in the evening.
Yeah,
But I
I
do
journal at night. You journal in the morning,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. I think having some time for yourself is like so crucial. And
Mhm.
again, like even with that, like remember guys, like time for yourself doesn't have to look like what Nell or I does, right? Or sorry, what we do. There is no right and wrong. It's just about time for yourself and doing something that has you feeling good. So like literally, honestly, like if that's like, I don't know, playing Tetris or Sudoku for 10
Yeah.
minutes and you feel rejuvenated, like do it. Tetris is on my mind because Steph brought our old like video game
Oh, okay.
system. He has one of those ones where you can have like every
Those are cool.
system. They're so cool. So we have like N64, Super Nintendo, Sega, like everything. So we were doing like Mario Kart the other night and then like Tetris. I love Tetris. So, anyways, time for you. It's
It's true.
important.
Yeah. I worked with a dad and he would take his dog out for a walk first thing in the morning. I used to take my dog out for a walk first thing, but now I don't have that dog. She passed away. My
Mhm.
dad's morning is spent like learning Mandarin. My mom's morning is
That's
spent, don't speak
incredible.
to me. I'm going to drink this coffee and then I will deal with you.
Yeah, yeah,
I
that's
took after my mom in
amazing.
case anyone's wondering.
That's first of all, that's so cool that your dad's learning Mandarin. How
Yeah,
far along is he?
oh, I don't know. Truly, I don't know. I've definitely heard him practicing with his flashcards. So.
That's awesome. That's so cool. Yeah, I would be more like your dad then, and you or your
Yeah, I'm
mom would be
100% my
more
mom.
like,
Like, don't speak to me for the first hour. We'll figure it
yeah.
out after.
Steph's kind of like that too. He's not like grumpy, but he definitely like he's not talkative. And
Oh,
if you meet him
I
any
married
other
a
time of
rise
the
and
day,
shine. Zach loves the morning.
okay, so we're on opposites
Yeah.
here. This is amazing. This is
And I think that's
awesome.
important too. Your morning routine doesn't have to be the same for everyone in the household.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
I think a lot of the time, and there are things that you have to do, get kids to school,
yep,
make sure everybody has food, whatever. But the morning routine doesn't have to look the same. And it is okay to be with that. Like, I
yes,
think we want it to be the same for
hmm,
simplicity.
yep.
But by forcing that, it actually makes it harder.
Yeah, and I think as well we carry like a level of we carry sometimes a sense of guilt if we're like doing things without other people, even
Mhm.
though that might actually be the like best time of day for us to do those things.
Yeah.
So
Like,
yeah.
it's not selfish to work out as a parent because
Mhm.
you're probably going to be a better parent, right?
Yep. Yes. And that's actually something I know with mornings that comes, even with evenings, that comes up a lot with some of the parents we work with is this idea of like, well, I should be there helping my kids with breakfast, or I should be there in the evening, like helping with bath time or whatever it is. But that you keep yourself in this constantly like stuck position where you're guilty here and you're guilty here and you're guilty there. It's like you're never going to win. And that's
Mhm.
one of the first like big roadblocks with follow through, right? Like letting yourself off the hook, as you just said, Nell, to actually do something for you that has you being a better
Yeah.
parent or mom, daughter, sister, friend, worker, whatever it is,
Yeah,
right?
I do better check-ins with everyone on our roster if I'm setting the tone for my day.
Yep.
Right? Because I can wake up tired, sit down in front of my computer, not drink a coffee, not eat breakfast, and be like, well, can you just go to the gym? Like,
Yeah.
that's not helpful.
For sure, for sure. So right now, as much as we have these routines, like we're not robots, guys. We have things that come up in our days that we're not expecting. We have like what is the term? A wrench in our plans, whatever it might be, right? The Everybody does because life is ruled by the unexpected and how you're
And
able to.
by outside factors, like even us just trying to coordinate our schedules to record in different time zones on
Oh
different
yeah,
days. It's
yeah.
hectic,
We
right?
sent like
So if
50
you have
messages about
lots
getting
of
today.
things to do, yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah,
hard.
it is. It is. So, you know, when it comes to kind of like planning for the unexpected, I would actually say that most people, I know I've said this before, most people don't need like necessarily a whole new plan, like
No.
workout wise or meal plan wise or anything. What they need is they need to be taught how to deal with life when it happens unexpectedly, because the
Because it
expected part of
will.
life,
It's gonna.
yeah, and
Expect for it to go unexpectedly.
the expected part of life, as we're talking about right now, like we know our routines, we can deal with those, like those are
Mhm.
easy. But when the things come up you're not expecting, as Mel said, it's going to happen. How do you deal with them then? And that's the biggest thing I think people are not taught. And so then when life happens, which it always does, they kind of get into that mindset of like, um, I'm falling off. And so therefore I failed. And so therefore
Yes.
I give up completely. What we need is habits that actually work and tools that actually work in the times of chaos. So, like, for me, one of the biggest things, first of all, is that when something comes up, I have I have my habits, right? So let me take a step back. Let's talk about this. My habits, I would say on a day-to-day basis, based because we talked about like our morning routine,
Yeah.
is some type of meditation or showing up for myself. It's always daily steps no matter what, usually some type of movement, and making sure my nutrition gets in. Those are literally my core habits. Those are what my day is based off of. Everything else is usually pretty flexible, right? Even work is flexible, in the sense of like I always have work, but for me at least, where I'm filling in the gaps.
Mhm.
Um, what I learned that was probably a huge game changer, even earlier on when my schedule looked different, was okay, these are my 3 or 4 daily habits. How can I shrink them when stress hits?
That's good.
Because most people will fall off, as we are just saying, right? And most people fall off because their habits are just like too fragile. You build a routine, but you built that routine only off the fact that like it worked when I had time, when I had energy, when did my meditation, when again, nothing unexpected happens. So when stress hits, and like for me, all of a sudden I didn't get my meditation in, does my entire rest of the day like go to waste?
And this is a good point because what falls apart first?
Yeah.
That's where I kind of build my foundation from. And for me, it's almost exclusively nutrition, which is why I cook my food ahead of time in some capacity.
Yep.
Because I know that's where I'm going to flounder the most. That's going to be the first thing I'm like, I don't need that, throw it away. And so I'm taking kind of my biggest weakness, and I'm planning for the unexpected there, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Have you ever heard of the analogy of the like I don't know how to summarize this very short. It's the analogy of the teacher that I'm just going to say really quick. There's a teacher in a class, and he like brings a glass jar out and he fills it up with big rocks.
Oh yeah, and then you can fill it with the smaller stuff.
Exactly.
And then yeah.
Yeah. So the idea, if you guys haven't heard of this, is there's a glass, a teacher, he fills it with rocks. He asks the class, "Is it full?"
Is this jar full?
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
And so then he takes out a bunch of little tiny rocks and dumps them in, and they fill in the gaps. And he's like, "Now is the jar full?" And everyone's like a little bit hesitant. And then he adds sand in, and it fills it up. And then he's like, "Now is it full?" And a girl comes from the back and like adds water and fills it up. And they're like, "Okay, it's legit full now." But the idea here is like, apply this to your life, how you are structuring it, right? Because if he did it backwards, if we look at the rocks, the pebbles, the sand, the water in terms of like what your tasks are for the day, and the rocks are the biggest and the most important thing, and then it gets less important as the things go on. So if water was the least important thing and sand was the second least important thing, but you actually filled the glass up with water first and then sand, you would have no room for the pebbles, which is more important, and the rocks, which is the most important. And this is how most of us live our day-to-day life, I find. We realize we have this list of stuff to do, but we wind up spending so much time doing the things that aren't as important, and then we get to the end of the day, we're exhausted, but we don't actually feel like very accomplished, and we feel like we have like not gotten ahead.
Or that list never ends because you're constantly piling more sand on it instead of hitting those rocks, right?
Yeah. So like you said, for you realize nutrition is a big struggle if you don't take care of it first. Part of the reason why I meditate first, if I'm honest with you guys, is not because I'm like, oh, this is the best time for me to meditate. Like I said, I wake up with so much energy. It would make the most sense for me to eat really quick and like go to the gym, or just like start working right away because I'm so mentally locked in. But I know that if I don't tend to do it in the morning, I will not do it. Likewise for me with like steps, I know that on like rest days, if I don't nail a bunch of steps out in the first half of the day, even in the first 2 hours of the day, I'm probably going to fall behind, and it doesn't tend to happen as well for me. So yeah, I totally agree with Nell. One of the big things it sounds like we both have done is just recognize, if these are my rocks, if these are my 4 things, which one am I, how am I prioritizing them in order to get them done? But as I was saying before, like in terms of habits and shrinking them, this was a big thing for me, and I still do this to this day. So yes, when stress hits, whenever something unexpected comes up, I shrink my habits down. So my 1.5 hour workout might become 45 minutes. If even to this day, and I've done this since the beginning, when I was new to tracking, if I, for whatever reason, can't hit all of my macros, I focus on just hitting my calories and protein, or just even my calories, or honestly, just making sure that I'm eating regularly still throughout the day, because based off the phase I'm in, that's really important. We're not going long gaps or starving ourselves or anything like that. Even from a planning perspective, if I find that like if I'm really, really overwhelmed and I've got so many different things to plan, instead of trying to plan everything, I just plan for one thing, because it makes a really big difference.
And see, I think it's really interesting that that's an approach that works really well for you, because I would struggle with that sort of flexibility. And so I'm almost on the opposite end of the spectrum, whereas it's like my workout is always going to be an hour.
Okay.
Always. Because I know it will fit there. Right. And then I like reverse engineer back. And so like, I'm like, how long will this task take me? And then I will make sure that it fits. And like I am shorting myself in my workouts sometimes. I absolutely know that. But the fact that I got it in instead of skipping it entirely was more beneficial. And so I always work in like chunks of time. I'll be like, this is a work block, this is an eat block, this is a gym block. That works really well for me, because if I was like, oh, I'll just shrink it down because I know today's really busy, I probably would just continuously see that time be smaller and smaller and smaller for me.
Yeah, sorry. I don't mean that I justified at the beginning of the day. I mean that like if I'm midday and I had planned my workout block, because I do that as well. Basically, I reverse engineer my entire day, including like drive time and everything. But if something comes up and let's say I like hit traffic, or I had a client check-in run really late and all of a sudden I realized my workout block just happened to get cut, not because I let it get cut, I still am like, that's okay to shrink the habit down.
That's fair.
Because otherwise, no, I'm not of the
now I have 10 minutes to work out. Like,
no, I'm not of the mindset of like, oh, it's just a busy day, I'm just going to justify doing less. Like, no, like I have my plan. I stick to my plan to the best of my ability. But if life happens unexpectedly, then I shrink it down. Even like, have you ever been in a position where just like the food you brought like went bad, or you left your food at home?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I feel like for me, like I'm just like, okay, well, I know in the past, like when I was like younger, my plans kept falling apart, because if that happened to me, I'm like, well, I'm just going to go get like a medium pizza. But now it's like, okay, what's the next best?
Yeah. Cause instead of doing that exact thing, it's like, even if I have to hit up a drive-through, I don't have to get a full meal.
Yep.
I can have a small snack that is going to tide me over enough that I can go home and continue with the plan.
Yep. Yeah.
Right? Because absolutely. I used to be that, I'll get fries and I'll get an extra large Coke and I'll get, a double cheeseburger.
All in, baby. All
Instead of just maybe grabbing a 3-piece nugget and going home.
Okay, super quick pause here, because if you're listening to this episode and thinking, I really don't want another January where I go all in and fall off by February, you are exactly who we built our New Year's one-on-one coaching for. Our program is called 2026 Results That Stick. And the goal, if it doesn't sound obvious, is super simple. We want you to start 2026 the way you actually want to end 2026. It's not about losing 10 pounds in January. It's about making sure you're still here with sustainable results come April, come July, come September, come next December. Still moving, still consistent, still seeing progress. We are going to take you through a 4-month, 4-tiered coaching approach. Month 1 is going to be all about setting the foundation. Month 2 is our launch pad. Month 3 is where we literally start stacking results. And month 4 is where we teach you how to sustain every single result you've gotten. Think about it like this: 80% of people fall off by mid-February. And let's be honest, you've probably been part of that statistic. I know I have. Committing to the next 4 months means you're still going to be showing up when most people have already quit. You're going to get programming tailored specifically to you, one-on-one support from me and the other Team Frizzle coaches, as well as community support from other men and women who are working toward the same kind of long-term change as you. If you're ready to stop starting over and actually build results that last, click the link in the show notes and apply for our one-on-one 2026 Results That Stick coaching. And let's build something you're proud of, not just in January or February, but all freaking year long. All right, back to the episode.
Okay, one of the big ways that actually helped me follow through was recognizing the unexpected situations that kept coming up. Because to be honest, a lot of them will be repeat situations, whether you forgot your food or again, just the busyness of life. If you've got kids, there's probably situations that happen repeatedly with picking a kid up or somebody's not feeling well or whatever it is. So then recognizing, okay, this is like a continual pattern. I can't necessarily say when it's going to happen, but it does happen. So how can I actually do the prep work so that when it happens, I am prepared? So like, no matter what your situation is, for me, I used to not just, I still meal prep like Nel does, but I used to not just meal prep. I would literally meal prep a couple of meals and freeze them.
I always have freezer food. Always. And even when I, like, if I'm not portioning out meals, because honestly, that works really well for me, is to portion things out ahead of time. But I will always have, I call it like my emergency preparedness meal. And it's like a can of tuna. And you know what I mean? But I know I always have it on hand.
Yes.
And if I use it up, I replace it immediately. And it is there when I need it.
Yeah. It makes
and it doesn't have to be huge. It could be a granola bar in your bag.
Yep. Oh yeah. And then likewise also, so like recognizing, okay, but what about like when food doesn't happen and I'm out and I can't get access to that freezer meal? I created a list of meals like through the tracker device in my phone. If you're a client of ours, you probably already have it because we came up with a PDF of just like we call it Eats on the Streets.
Yeah, and you and I will both hit up a Wendy's. That's for sure.
Yeah, Wendy's is so clutch. But just easy meals that you already know are like more macro friendly, higher in protein. Like I would literally have a list of meals back in the day that was like from different restaurants. And I would also like organize it by like this one's highest protein, this one's lower carb, whatever it is. And so now, because that kind of also brings me to another point, not making decisions when you're already exhausted or already frantic, it's really hard to do that. You're almost always going to struggle to do that. So by already having like these meals in the freezer or again, a list of foods that you can grab on the run. Even honestly, on my list, I also just had grocery store ideas because
I was going to say, because it takes about the same amount of time to go to a grocery store. In my house, our wall calendar just has meals listed because there's going to be a day where we didn't plan correctly or whatever. And the hardest thing for me is deciding.
Yeah. Yes.
It's not the follow through, it's the decision.
Yes.
And so I'll be like, oh, Greek chicken bowls or whatever. And it's usually something easy. It's potato nachos or something.
But it's so true.
There. Yeah.
Trying to make a decision when you're exhausted, I think is one of the like most overlooked reasons why people can't follow through. Yes. Because your stress piles up, or like if you've got kids, your kids need something, mom, like work runs late, you get stuck in traffic, even just from an emotional perspective, like you're emotionally burnt out.
Yeah.
That is when your takeout happens.
You have a rough day at work.
Yep.
You don't want to have to think about things. That's why you end up picking up takeout. But if you go home and you're like, oh, there's a list I don't even have to think hard about, and I have those ingredients, that's the battle.
Yes. Yeah. And one thing actually, like I did, because same nutrition always, even to this day, is more of the struggle. I love working out. I love moving my body. It's not hard for me to convince myself to do that. But nutrition, when I'm burnt out or things fall apart, was always my struggle. So like we said, like having a list of foods and freezer foods and things like that. But another thing I used to do, I talk about this a lot with my clients, is having anchors. Mm-hmm. So instead of thinking like it's like a rigid plan and I have to follow this to a T, it kind of pairs with the habit shrinking, but it's like, what can I anchor to? So what is the bare minimum in terms of like how I can show up for myself today? Mm-hmm. Or like, nothing went to plan. So again, if I can just plan one thing like protein, whatever it is, but just having an anchor. So I remember at one point just being like, before I even was like tracking calories or again, having a rigid plan, I would just anchor to the fact that my rhythm or my routine looked like eating breakfast within an hour of waking up, having protein at every meal, having like 2 snacks a day, whatever it is. So it's not as rigid, but it still has you feeling like you're showing up in some capacity. That for me, because when things weren't going to plan, like when I think back to all the times like I would just fall off completely, it was because I told myself I had like follow through looked like 100% perfection all of the time. And so as soon as I had a day where that didn't happen, it felt like, well, I'd already ruined it. So by having these like anchor days or like habit shrinking days, I felt like, okay, I still showed up and did my best today. And so I can still be at peace with that. And I'm still showing up, which is the whole point of consistency and follow through.
Yeah, because here's the thing, like you get a flat tire, you don't slash the other 3, you fix the flat tire. And it's the same thing here. If your plan is not going according to what you thought it was going to be, instead of just plowing ahead and throwing it all out, pause. Ask yourself what needs to be adjusted, because that's where we go wrong, right? Like we talk about things like, oh, I have constant food noise. Have you ever utilized that to figure out why you're skipping meals?
I love this point. I hear
this all the time. I have food noise. I can't follow a plan. I'm overeating, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I think about food all the time too, but instead of letting it be the thing that makes me go eat 4 racks of ribs and an extra large pizza every night, I'm using that as a tool because now I'm not skipping meals. And that's what I used to do. I used to skip meals all the time. Yeah. But now I think, okay, if I'm already thinking about food, let's think about what I want to eat and how it's going to make me feel and when I'm going to do it. Because, dear God, you need to eat a lunch. Stop skipping lunch.
Literally,
Get up from your desk and eat something.
Literally. Can we just make this meals across the board? Like, please stop skipping breakfast, lunch, dinner. Like, but I love this point, because if we truly believe that our body is always communicating with us, we cast food noise in such a negative light.
Yes.
And again, I have food noise too. Like,
you know what the truth is? I hadn't even heard the term food noise until last year.
Me too.
I was like, what the hell is food noise?
I know.
I
like,
thought people just thought about food all the time. Like, that's just what we do.
Yeah.
And I was like, why is this a thing right now?
Crazy. I know. When I first started hearing it, like, a year, I don't know.
It wasn't that long ago. Yeah.
No, within the last 2 years, I was like, wow, that's what that's called. Like, I've literally had that my entire life.
But I get excited to plan what I want to eat in my day now.
Yes. So
it's
like,
a positive.
Why are we complaining, or why are we okay with the idea of like, oh, my body told me I have to pee 15 times today. You don't freak out about that, but you're like, oh, I really feel like having pizza, and you're like, see, I just can't deal with it. The food noise is too great. No, bitch, you are just like creating an environment in your mind that says, as soon as I think about something, that means I have to have it, and I have to have it in such a capacity that I overeat on it. And that is what's creating the negative stigma. Not the fact that you have
deemed specific foods to be something you're not happy about.
Exactly.
I freaking love eating healthy. I love the taste of food. Yep. And whether that is a greasy, cheesy pizza or that is a lean ground beef grilled up with some cauliflower, I love it all. And I bet you do too, except you have told yourself you can have one of those things and you can't have the other.
Exactly. This is literally what it comes down to.
Truly.
Because you've told yourself you don't have food noise for chicken and broccoli. You know why? Because you tell yourself you can have chicken and broccoli whenever you want it. And so now you don't want it. And of course, you guys, I know that there's a very different taste difference between chicken and broccoli and like an apple fritter. And apple fritters are on my mind because Steph and I are literally going to a bakery. The best apple fritters I've ever had in my life after this, and getting one. But anyways, there is a big difference. But you know why I don't have food noise about the apple fritter? Because I've also told myself I can just go and get one. So
and you have fueled your body. You are not restricting yourself up to the apple fritter.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right? Because that's the other thing too. Oh, well, I didn't eat lunch. I restricted because I was thinking about, I don't know, whatever you want to eat all day.
Yep.
So you've now doubled down on that.
Yeah,
you've told yourself you can't have it. Yep. And you've not allowed yourself to enjoy or think about any other food all day.
All day. Yeah. So what do you think is going to be the biggest signal in your brain? And again, when you think about everything else we just talked about, right? Like when you're already overwhelmed trying to make a decision, when you're already starving trying to make a decision, when you don't have any of the food prep, like no wonder, right? Your decisions feel out of control.
My list of meals on my wall calendar are pretty dang healthy because I like incorporating fruits and veggies into things. But I'll tell you what, if someone looked at that, they'd be like, you're a personal trainer. Why are you eating that? Because I have tater tot nachos on there. But you know what? They have a protein. They have veggies in them. They've got some healthy fats. And there's some damn tater tots on there, which are delicious, by the way. Oh, yeah. And that makes that decision a lot easier because it's not about being restrictive.
So much easier.
Right?
Honestly, like, one of the biggest ways I was able to follow through was because I stopped making my goals compete with my entire life.
Yeah.
You know, like your work, your family, your emotions, your stress, the things that you crave. When you treat all of these things like interruptions instead of like reality, like at some point you're going to just have to realize that if your fitness and nutrition are supposed to flow with your life, they're never going to last if, again, you treat work, family, relationships, stress, like interruptions instead of just the reality of life.
Yeah, because really we were kind of thinking we would talk about our routines, but we really only talked about our mornings because of stuff like this. Like you said, you and Steph are going to a bakery today. That's part of your life. It's not maybe your every single day routine, but it's in the routine, right?
Exactly. Yes. Most people do take a weekend, whether that is Saturday, Sunday, or it's a Monday, Tuesday, whatever it is. Most people like having plans of some kind, right?
My plans always include a date or a social gathering, whether that's the same day every week. or not, that's part of the plan for me because it's important to me. I want to spend time with the people I like.
Yep. I think for me, one of the big realizations with, okay, if my day to day, week to week does incorporate some type of social event or date night, how does following through still occur? I realized it's because having those events does not actually interfere. Again, it's not actually an interruption with my ability to follow through. But likely, if you guys are anything like me, you've spent so much time letting the date night, letting the events derail you, you feel there's no other option. So then I have to
or like it's like choose. Date night, social, and suddenly you're not going to the gym. It is okay to say no to things sometimes, or change when it happens.
Yep. Or even go to the events and not eat the food everybody else is eating there, right? Nobody is holding you hostage to this. Your life can happen independently from the food plan you're following. Your events can take place independently or like in tandem with, is what I'm trying to say, without you feeling like I have to either be 100% with everybody else or just like not go to the event.
Yeah, because a simple question I ask myself, is this a food event or is this a not food event?
Yep. Question number one, always, will there be food? I mean, and almost always the answer is yes.
But whether I'm partaking or not, right?
True. Gotcha.
Right? Like, let's say I'm going to, I don't know, a carnival. Is that a food event for me or not?
Yes.
Because I can go and ride those rides till I want to throw up, or I can go and I can eat all that food.
Yep.
Both of those are still me going and doing the thing, but one of them doesn't have to involve food. And I have to decide that ahead of time.
Yeah. I always like asking myself, so kind of along those lines, what is my version of success from this event? Because a lot of the time we automatically think that food is a part of what makes an event good. But then you realize exactly like what you just said, like for a carnival, like actually food is there and food can be a bonus, but it's not the defining factor of what makes this event good.
Right.
And so once you start to create that separation, you feel way more freedom because you're like, I can actually go to the movies. Yes, bitch, listen to me. You can go to the movies and not order a popcorn with all
I also need to say that you can go to the movies and not pack fish.
Yeah, okay, I've gotten better.
Why is that your go-to snack for the movie?
I know. I've gotten way better. The other day, like a few weeks ago, I actually brought soup. I literally brought like ramen soup.
Okay, but the theaters are always cold. That's a pro tip.
Really are. Okay, on another topic, life hack for the movies, always bring a blanket. You will never regret it. And now most theaters have like the reclining seats with the blanket. Heaven. Yeah. So good. But yes, recognizing
it's true. Yes, you don't have to get popcorn at a movie.
Yeah, life continues. Your goals don't have to compete with your life. It's a shift.
Yeah, I saw Wicked 4 times in theaters. I did not get popcorn. That's a ridiculous thing to be doing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Not just like, how expensive popcorn is nowadays. I'd be like broke. It's crazy. But honestly, I also just want to say, like, if you find yourself in a constant position where you feel like I just don't have time to meal prep, I just don't have time to get to the gym, what you're probably saying deep down is that like your plan doesn't respect your life, right? Because there's a difference between what we're talking about here, like in terms of an event perspective and balance, but then also just like feeling like you can't ever follow through because your plan literally doesn't take into account the fact that you work night shifts, you have, 3 kids, you've only got 40 minutes in a day, whatever it is. Your plan has to accommodate for your life or you're never going to follow through.
Yeah. I actually just met with a girl and she's a full-time student, full-time medic, and she's, got a side hustle job too. Yep. And I was like, I don't want you spending your one day off meal prepping for 8 hours. And she was like, I can do that. I was like, yes, because that's more important to me. Yes. Like, yes, I see you putting the plan and wanting to be successful, but the plan is taking away. And that's why it doesn't continue to follow through.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. In that case, right? It's the type of competing with your life where it's literally robbing you of your free time. Mm-hmm. It's robbing you, of your mental capacity. And in my opinion as well, that's a plan that doesn't actually like fit or structure for your life. So, with all of that being said, guys, I think I would love for you to think about as you move forward, how you define like falling off, because how I define falling off is very different than how I used to define falling off. Do you
Yeah,
find that yourself?
truly. Me falling off now is like I'm probably in the hospital.
Yeah.
But
Like
before, yeah, I used to be like, oh, I didn't wake up and immediately have perfection,
yeah,
so I'll just give up. But
yeah,
now it's like, oh, like even yesterday, we had multiple vehicles not starting. A friend called me to see if I could take her to the studio because her car wasn't starting. You know, he was at work, I was at work. We were like trying to get rides, things like that. That would have derailed me in the past
yeah,
immediately.
yeah,
But and then I had a dentist appointment later in the day. But
yeah.
instead of that, I made sure I got my breakfast in. I came home, I sat down and went, okay, what has to get done today? Client check-ins, because I think I had about 5 of those that needed to get done. That
Yeah.
was priority number 2 to me because I'd already been out of the house. Getting my food in, getting my workout in, and then after that, if there's time to spare, there's time to spare. But before, I would have just been like, I can't do this anymore. Who cares?
Yes, definitely. Definitely. Yeah, for me, it was always, I would say, because my journey started so young, defining falling off at the beginning of my journey was literally like missing a meal. Oh shit, I ate pizza yesterday. I shouldn't have done that, right? Like, yes or no, good or bad foods. I
Mm-hmm.
missed my workout. I missed my workout a couple days in a row.
Yeah, like I was trying to double down on workouts if I missed something. Like that
Yeah,
was crazy.
yeah. I remember, yeah, I do. I remember that too, to be honest. I also remember like if I had a week where, because my journey was so purely weight loss focused at the beginning, where like I didn't lose weight, I might let that week go. But if I didn't lose it like twice in a row, I would feel like, oh, this isn't working. And I would just like stop, right? I
Mm.
would just fall off because the progress wasn't happening in regards to how I believed it should happen in my mind.
And I think, yeah, I probably did that really early on, but then I ended up, in the hospital having reconstructive surgeries and stuff. And so it was like, oh, so this is actually falling apart. This is what
Yes,
life feels like when it falls apart. And that
absolutely.
was actually a pretty big wake up call for me. And it really shifted how I approached things. But then I maybe swung too far to the other side where I was like,
Yeah.
whatever happens, happens.
For sure, for sure. I know for me, like really giving myself permission to change or like redefine what falling off meant was
Yes.
a big game changer for me following through. And
Yeah,
it's
because what did the plan actually look like and where did it go wrong? Or where did it start to not feel like the plan was there? That's really, to me, it's not falling off, but that's where we need to focus on shifting.
yeah, definitely. It's I've said it before, I will continue to always say it, but like the body follows where the mind goes. If you miss a workout, if you eat something unplanned, if you have a rough few days, if you don't see progress in the way that you've told yourself you should, and you mentally say, I'm failing now, there's no point, guess what? You're gonna fall off.
Mhm.
But yeah, switch, having that switch, realizing like missing a day, you're not off track, you're just a human being. The real failure is not the missed habit, it's only if you completely abandon yourself after like whatever happened.
Yeah, true. I kind of
So
give myself a 3-day rule in all
yes,
aspects of life
yep,
because let's be real. Sometimes I do eat out back to back, or I don't go to the gym 2 or 3 days in a row. But
yep,
after that point, I go, okay, enough is enough. Why are we still avoiding this? And is it something that is truly within my control? And if it is, then just buckle down and do it.
definitely,
Because
definitely.
I think there is value in tough love, right? It's that fine line between giving yourself grace and giving yourself the excuse.
Absolutely, yeah. One thing that I love doing, and often do this with clients, is if you are having a rough few days, is we do this in threes. So never, I know a lot of people say I never make the like same error twice, or like, if
I
I
make the
miss
same error all the
all
time.
the time. But it's a great concept because they post it in terms of like,
It's
oh,
true.
let's say you
Yes.
eat a meal out, for lunch, because you forgot your food at home and your meal out wasn't what it should have been or whatever it is. I'm not letting anything else happen the rest of the day. For me, I find that a lot of the time things do tend to have a domino effect.
Yes.
So, well, if we can stop it after like the first thing that happens, amazing. But if it started to shift, I say like, what do they call it? Like rules of three. That's
Yeah,
basically what I
exactly. The
say.
rule of three. Yeah.
Yeah. So never
Yeah,
let
third
it
time's the
happen.
charm, right? Like
Exactly. So, like, maybe your day just completely went off course. You missed your meditation. Maybe you went out for lunch and you were like, damn, I shouldn't have eaten that, and then it took up too much time and you missed your daily steps. Okay. But now we're not letting the third thing happen. Rules of
Mhm.
three kind of mentality. And that was
Yeah, that's
something that
been really helpful.
yeah, I used to use for myself here too. So
Honestly, I still use that because the domino effect is very real.
it is so real. So anyways, guys, I hope that this helps, right? Because like following through isn't about like becoming a completely different person. It's just about like building a system that really supports your life in all of the different phases of life as your routines change, as things come up unexpectedly. If I could say anything else, actually, because when we put the notes together for this, one thing that was like really on my mind was that I think a big thing that used to stop me from following through was I expected consistency to always feel good when I think about it.
That's a really good point. And you are being consistent. It's just not consistent in what you think you need to be doing, right? Because eating out every single day or not going to the gym every single day, that's consistency too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think I think one thing social media has really lied to us about is the fact that if you are consistent, you should feel good all the time. But
Mm.
one of the bigger reasons people don't talk about why they're not following through is because they expect consistency to feel motivating, to feel calm, to feel satisfying.
Which I think is
It's
why
not
that
going to do
discipline
that.
term comes in, right? Because we expect discipline to feel hard, but
Yeah.
really they're kind of interchangeable.
Yes, yes, absolutely. You build discipline from being consistent. So if discipline doesn't always feel good and consistency is what got you there, then guess what? Being
Yes.
consistent is not always going to feel good. And for a long time, I honestly thought something was wrong if my consistency felt hard, right? Like if I was tired, if I
Yes.
was overwhelmed, if I was unmotivated, I'm like, but I'm being
I'm doing
consistent.
everything right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is it hard?
Exactly. I should be feeling good. I should be feeling on top of the world. But then I really realized that like consistency doesn't come from feeling ready. It comes from deciding that like some version, any version
Yeah.
of myself was like still showing up and that counts. Because again, busy seasons, stressful moments, they don't stop happening. We're just stopping the discomfort from being the reason why we disappear. So if we're stopping that from happening, it means we're still feeling uncomfortable, but we're just still showing up.
I actually love that because when I first kind of branched out on changing my health, I
Yeah.
consistently cooked at home.
Mm,
But I was cooking really high calorie comfort foods. And then I was confused as to why I wasn't seeing change. And it wasn't until I realized, oh, you can feel discomfort here. And I can start cooking different foods that are going to serve me differently
yeah.
that I actually found success. And so it wasn't consistency that was the issue. It was expecting it to feel good all the time.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. You know what doesn't feel good all the time? Eating my meal prep food when I really just want an entire box of cereal.
Mm,
Like,
true.
doesn't, it really doesn't, you guys. So get out of the Disneyland version of thinking that this journey is going to be just like joy and like it's not going to happen. Believe me, it's going to feel easier, but easy doesn't still necessarily mean you enjoy everything all of the time.
No. And so to summarize, find a little bit of time for yourself
Yeah.
and build that into your routine. Find the ways or the anchors in your day and figure out where those need to be, right?
Yeah.
If you need to cut things down a little bit, if you need to chunk out time a little bit, you can, right? Figure out where the follow through is going to come. Find that like rule of 3 and make that be your hard stop point. And that's going to help you continue to follow through in a capacity much like us, because we've been doing this a long time and there are still hard days, but we still figure it out and we still keep going forward in
Totally.
a positive way.
Amen. Amen.
And make choices before you're exhausted.
Yes, for sure. These are all things you guys can learn. So don't feel like you need to have everything figured out because like Nell said, we've been here for years and that's how we are at this point. We just ultimately you need habits that respect your reality and a backup plan to follow suit. And if you guys need help creating that, if you need the support in doing that, that is what we're here to do, baby. Whether you just continue to listen to the podcast and again, any reviews you guys leave us, sharing our podcast helps huge. Or you're ready to be like, no, you know what? This really hit home for me between this and the last episode. I need help with my follow through. I want to be more consistent here. Hit the link.
And needing help is a good thing. You and I have both worked with people ourselves because we needed help.
Exactly. Oh yeah.
Needing help is not a weakness. It is not, a sense of failure. It's actually again, finding an anchor point.
Yeah, exactly. So let us be that for you. Hit the link in the show notes below to fill out a coaching form to work with us one-on-one. We'll hop on a call. We'll chat more about where you're at and where we can get you, because that is the most important thing here. And in the meantime, again, you guys can find us on socials, on the show notes below. Otherwise, please consider leaving us a 5-star review. It helps us out huge. Share the podcast with everybody you know, everybody you like, and everybody you don't like. And
yeah, your grandma who's not on social media, make her listen.
yeah, literally. No choice. Otherwise, guys, we will see you next week with a fresh episode. If you have any questions, drop them below. Have a beautiful day.
Bye.